These are 14 height tips I wish I knew before 14 years old. The reason I'm making this video is because so many of my TikToks that are about height advice, there are so many young teenagers saying they are cooked because they're comparing their height to their age. So I came up with 14 height tips that could probably maximize your growth after watching this video. But let's get right into it. The first one is going to be analyzing the data. Now you could just sit around all day and just hope one day you're going to hit a growth spurt, but the best way that you can predict your height is using the app Taller. As you can see the screenshot on the screen, you can put in your weight, height, and age, and it'll calculate your final height. This app can actually help you increase your growth by giving you nutrition values and also physical health. This thing also has an AI that you can ask infinite questions about. As you can see by my chart, I am taller than 64% of people my age, but I seriously wish I knew about this app earlier because it is actually insane. The second tip I have is to maximize your sleep. I can't say this enough. Your doctor tells you to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep for a reason, especially at a young age where you're hitting puberty and you need to grow. You need to be maximizing your sleep every single night. For tip number 3, this is important, so keep watching, or you have to eat more. And I'm not just talking about the glazed donuts from Quick Trip. You need a balanced diet of carbs and protein. Those are the main two I think you would need. You should be trying to get 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. There's really nothing more I need to say to that. Try to eat as much as you can as a teen because you are going to grow to the fullest. Tip number 4 is working out. Working out is so important, not just for your growth, but also your mental health, because there's going to be a day where you're going to realize that you're not going to grow any taller. But regardless you're happy with your height or not, you have been working out, and since you built that habit, you can still continue to grow stronger and maximize other parts of your body. Now, I think number 5 is pretty underrated, but it's taking vitamins. I'm not going to go into a whole nutrition analysis by telling you what each vitamin does, but the main 3 I take is omega-3, which is a fish oil, and then I also take magnesium, which really helps with your sleep schedule. And then number 3 is vitamin D. For number 6, the tip I have is clothing. You might be confused on why clothing has anything to do with height, but you can actually create an illusion that you're taller by wearing proportional clothes. To simply put it, you don't want to wear your clothes on a 50-50 style. And what that means is wearing a shirt the same length as your bottom pants. So what I recommend for the colder seasons is wear more of a cropped top and then more of a longer pants. And then for the warmer seasons, you have to wear the 5-inch shorts. If you're wearing anything longer, it's gonna make your kneecaps look short to the ground. And then my final tip for clothing is find a shoe that has some sort of height on it. I'm not saying to buy those socks with height increasers on them. You do not want to be caught with those. But if you find shoes with tall platforms, you could literally be 1 to 2 inches taller. Now, number 7, also another important tip, is posture. As you can see in this video, my posture is pretty good instead of slouching over like this. Another important one is using your neck to your advantage. A lot of people's necks are slanted forward, which just cause them to lose some inches to their height. So you really want to have a neutral spine the whole time by keeping your neck back. Now these last few tips regard mental health on your height, because I know when I was a teen and I always saw my friends grew taller than me in high school, sometimes I would always say to myself, I wish I was a little taller. But for tip number 8 is to care less. You gotta stop caring about what others think of your height. Now I know in my videos I say send this to a short person as a joke, but if you're one of those people who got sent these videos, just try to use it as a motivator to work on other things in your life. This brings me to my 9th tip, is don't compare yourself to others. Like, bro, there are some genetic freaks out there, especially on basketball teams, but if all you're gonna do is compare your height to them, you're gonna get nowhere. And I know it's cheesy, but you heard it before, comparison is the thief of joy. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but for tip number 10 is to find your own skill that you're good at. You cannot be focusing on your height your whole life, so if you find another skill that really interests you, you build upon this skill, trust me, you're gonna forget about your height completely. For number 11, I'm gonna say to love your parents. Now this really should be common sense because they are your parents, but regarding height, a lot of kids blame their parents for their heights, but just do not blame them. This relates to my tip number 12, which is to be grateful for them, and just be grateful to God that you have been given a body and life. Now let's say you finally found a skill that you're good at. This brings me to tip 13, which is to take advantage. You see all these tall NBA players taking advantage of their height, or you see all these short bodybuilders with crazy frames taking advantage of their shortness. So you have to take advantage of your own skills and implement that with your height. Sometimes it doesn't even have to do anything with height. You be an artist, a writer, or a singer. So just take advantage of what you already have. Now for number 14, probably the most important tip of them all, I wrote down have a high spirit, not a high head. Don't get me wrong, being tall is a great feature in life. There is a big difference between having a high head above everyone else and having a high spirit above everyone else. The main reason most people want to be tall is either because they want attention, it's attractive, or they want the strength. The truth is all three of those things can be replaced with the high spirit. Having a faithful and strong relationship with God is the most important of all. So this is a reminder to put your priorities straight and focus on God and not your height. And who knows, God might grant you a few inches for doing this.